All right, it's the 2023 WNBA Playoffs teams and format presentation with your girlfriend Harris. For those of you who do not know who I am, played on the Houston Comets' first WNBA championship team, played on the national championship team at the University of Texas, 34-0, baby, hook 'em, and have called the league for ESPN, Fox, the Dallas Wings over the last 10 to 15 years, and excited of what the WNBA has become. I was there from the beginning and have been a huge fan of how our league has grown, and certainly appreciate all of y'all because y'all make it happen. The fans make it absolutely happen. So I'm going to be recording this quick presentation about the playoffs that literally just got kind of wrapped up last night. And then I'll be bringing you different kinds of content over the month that we will be watching to see who gets down to the final, the nitty gritty, and who becomes the WNBA champion for 2023. So let's jump in. Let's talk courtesy of Wikipedia about the teams that are in the playoffs. Las Vegas Aces got their berth on the 2nd of August. No surprise to anyone. Got that berth very, very early because the Las Vegas Aces were hot all season long and just really started to cool off in July, late July, and then in August. Then the New York Liberty, one of the hottest teams in the WNBA, got their berth on the 11th of August, shortly after the Las Vegas Aces. The New York Liberty, a team that people are extremely excited about. Some people are even going to the point of saying that they are going to be the 23 champion. The jury's still out on that a little bit, but we're going to roll with that for now. We're just talking about the teams. Connecticut Sun, possibly a sleeper. Everybody's on the Connecticut Sun right now and talking about how great they have played all season long. Haven't been up, haven't been down, that they have been one of the most consistent teams in the W, berth on the 20th of August. The Dallas Wings, the Dallas Wings, a team that has some people screaming bloody murder and some people screaming they're the greatest thing since the Nutty Buddy ice cream sandwich. You got to love or hate the Dallas Wings. That's the sentiment in the marketplace right now. There are people who really love them, and there are people who really think they're going to crater at the end, but that's why we play the game. September 1st, clinched their spot in the WNBA as number 4. The Minnesota Lynx, what? I'm talking about number 5, and I'm talking about the Minnesota Lynx. Come on, y'all. Y'all did not think the Minnesota Lynx were going to be in the conversation in the playoffs in May. In June. Raise your hand right now. Put it in the comments right now. Did you think that the Minnesota Lynx were going to be in the conversation? You can say what you want about what's happening in this league right now, but I love the parity of what is going on in the W right now. And the fact that the Minnesota Lynx are in the 5th spot and secured that on the 3rd of September. It was the 3rd of September. Some of y'all know what that's about, but I digress. Minnesota Lynx in the business, y'all. Great coaching staff, players who stuck in there and hung in there, and now they're literally back in the picture. The Washington Mystics, I'm going to say, I like the Washington Mystics, but they got some issues. It's very obvious. You watch them, they got some issues. They got some culture issues. They got some sticking together issues. They got some basic run the plays issues. But what they do have is that they've got a champion. They got a ship in 2019, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. But once you get that kind of embedded into your DNA, you kind of are almost always in the hunt for a ship. All right, September 5th, they got their berth. Washington Mystics not playing great right now, although Brittany Sykes was balling last night. I digress. Not playing great right now, but they're still in there. Atlanta Dream, a team that is like a roller coaster. They're up and down. They're exciting when they're on, and they are difficult to watch when they are not. But they're in the playoffs. Got some young players, got some really great ballers. Cheyenne Parker, we'll talk about all that in the next few days. But the Atlanta Dream, ATL is going crazy right now. They are very, very excited about being in there. They got their berth on the 6th of September. And then the final spot, just about a hair of their chin, Chicago Sky, Kalia Copper. They balling. September 8th, literally last night, got that number 8 spot. And that's what we're looking at from a standpoint of the teams in the 2023 WNBA playoff run. Let's talk a little bit about how they got there, right? So Las Vegas Aces entered the postseason for the 5th consecutive season. That's basically since Mark Davis took over, the Aces have been in the playoffs, won the 2022 championship. The New York Liberty entered the postseason for the 3rd consecutive season. New York has been on the rise. The Connecticut Sun entered the postseason for the 7th consecutive season. I said it a few minutes ago. One of the most consistent W teams, always hanging around. It ain't always pretty, but they're always there. The Dallas Wings, the tumultuous Dallas Wings, they're beautiful. It's a beautiful game they play when it's played well. And when it's not, y'all be in these Facebook group streets losing y'all's minds. For real. The Dallas Wings entered the postseason for the 3rd consecutive season. The Minnesota Lynx entered the postseason for the first time since 2021. So they had a little hiatus. Let's not forget Minnesota's won, 3 ships? Okay, let's go. Let's keep that in mind. The Washington Mystics entered the postseason for the 2nd consecutive year. Who we got here? The scroll up a little bit, get off my screen a little bit. I gotta see what y'all doing right here. Who we got here? The Chicago Sky. Oh, got the Atlanta Dream entered the postseason for the first time since 2018. That's quite an absence, but they in there. The Chicago Sky entered the postseason for the 5th consecutive season. The Los Angeles Sparks missed the postseason for the 3rd consecutive season. I don't know. The Phoenix Mercury, which everybody's talking about, missed the postseason for the first time since 2012, y'all. What do y'all think needs to happen in Phoenix? All right, the Seattle Storm missed the postseason for the first time since 2015, and the Indiana Fever missed the postseason for the 7th consecutive season, currently the longest active preseason drought in the WNBA. So that's how they got there. That's kind of like the overview of what's happening. The format, let's talk about the format. The new format scraps the single elimination games of the first 2 rounds in the favor of a best of 3 quarterfinal round. Okay, so for those of y'all who are new to the W or really didn't understand why things were going the way they go, this is why. And I love the new format. I'm going to say it again, the new playoff format scraps the single elimination games of the first 2 rounds in favor of a best of 3 quarterfinal round. As a result, all 8 playoff teams seeded according to overall regular season record, regardless of conference, will begin postseason play in the first round on September 13th, 2023. Let's see that visually played out. So you can see, like, literally everybody's pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, everybody's equal. Everybody's had a chance, right? No play-in game, none of that. Like, everybody comes in. If you ball out, then you have a good chance to advance. That is the new format. The top teams to watch in WNBA, I don't know why Seattle Storm is on there. That is a misprint. Now, just to making sure y'all paying attention, right? That's a misprint. It's the Las Vegas Aces, the New York Liberty, and the Connecticut Sun. But who will be the surprises? Who will be the surprises? Put them in the comments. Who do you think is going to surprise folks? Which team do you think is going to surprise folks? All right. And then in summary, in July, everybody thought the Aces were a shoo-in. Raise your hand right now if I'd ask you in July who you thought was going to win the WNBA championship. Raise your hand. Put it in the comments if you would have answered. Bet your money on the Las Vegas Aces. In August, New York entered the conversation. Everybody's talking about how well New York is playing, and they are indeed. They're playing together. And now in September, more folks are talking about Connecticut. Dallas, yes, Dallas finds a way to be in the conversation. And possibly Minnesota? I'm just telling you what I'm hearing, and I'm just telling you that there's a lot to be said about teams that play well at the right time. And Minnesota is one of those teams. So that's going to do it for this edition of the playoff situation. Make sure you keep it locked. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you turn on notification because pretty soon I'm going to be talking about matchup breakdowns. Oh, yeah, we're going to do the breakdowns where I literally go number 8, number 1, right? Tell you the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly about each team. And that's coming up very soon. So turn it on, lock it in, and make sure you turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, y'all.